Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm working on filling up my raised beds in the vegetable garden with crops that grow really fast, that have a very short maturity day because we don't have a tremendous amount of time left in this season. I planted the bulk of my fall crops already, so those things that take a little bit longer to mature, and I planted those out in our new garden area. And out there I've got a short day corn and cucumbers and zucchini. I've got peas, beans, beets, several different types of carrots. I've got parsley, basil, and cilantro. Is there anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. But yeah, so a bulk of them are already going, and those had to be started earlier than the ones I'm planting today because they needed a little bit more time to mature. So today I'm focusing on those short season things like greens. So we're gonna plant a couple different types of kale, spinach, a couple different types of lettuce, and some green onions and radishes. I wanted to give you just a quick look at what I've currently got going on out in the garden. The reason why I'm sitting here is because they're roofing the house that's being built right behind our vegetable garden, and so it's like constant nail gun sounds. I don't know if you can hear it. I find that if I sit kind of protected back in this area, it's not quite as loud, and I know it won't last forever, but I thought it might be easier to chat with you guys without all that noise right there. So this is what I currently have going on. This is the entrance to our garden here. So I've got the beds that are starred are the beds we will plant today. These two beds here and here are also empty, but I'll be planting garlic later. In these two outer beds on the top, I've got sweet potatoes still going. I've got zinnias in those beds. In this bed here, I've got pepper plants still, as well as strawberries surrounding the peppers. And in this bed here, I've got eggplant, a big amazel basil plant, and strawberries. So basically, I've got one 3x6 bed, one 3x6x6 bed, if that makes sense. The long sides are 6 feet, short sides are 3 feet, and then one 3x4 bed. And I got all of my seed down at the garden center out of the bulk bins. So for kale, we've got dwarf blue curled scotch. Did I get that right? Yeah. This is a 55 day. We've got Lacinato Kale, which is a 30 to 60 day. French breakfast radishes. These are fast, 23 day. I could still get several harvests out of these. Like I could plant today, I could plant another crop in a week or 2 weeks, and maybe another crop after that. All of these things too can handle a little bit of a frost, so they'll go a little bit longer into the season. In fact, the frost sometimes improves the flavor a little bit. So there's the cherry bell radish, also a 23 day. White bunching onion. Now these, it'll be interesting. I've got some sets left from spring, like the little bulbs left in the greenhouse. And so I think I'll go grab those bags, and maybe we'll do a side-by-side comparison at this point to see what it looks like to plant seed versus the sets. I'm not looking for bulbed out onions. I'm just looking to use the tops as green onions. And then for lettuces, I've got Butter Crunch and Marvel of Four Seasons. These are both a thicker leafed lettuce, which Aaron prefers. He actually prefers spinach over lettuce. I like to do a mixture. So long as I use a thick leafed lettuce, he still likes it. And then giant noble spinach. So here's the plan. I'm gonna set up a camera out there. I'm going to amend the beds as I normally do. I'll add in a little bit of biotone. I'll add in some land and seed compost just to top them up a bit, because I don't know what happens to soil and raised beds, but over the course of the season, I know some of it comes out with the roots of plants when you remove things, but it just kind of like disappears back down into the native soil. So I always find that I need to top them up just a little bit, and I may have to do a little bit of repair work on the drip system as well. We've got that 1/4 inch poly tubing that's got the holes every 6 inches, and it's worked really well for us this year. So I'll just try my best to capture everything that I do out there, and then we'll go through it in the end. Maybe we can catch the guys on their lunch hour and it'll be quiet for a little bit out there. We'll see. Water starts here, it goes up there, loops around, comes this way, loops around, this way, and then it looks like the water about stops right here, like it's plugged. So I'm going to replace this piece right here. believe this, but I think we timed it perfectly. The roofers just went to lunch and I just finished planting, so we can have a little tour of where everything's at. So let's start right here in the entrance. Let's everybody will these arborvitaes to grow faster and thicker. We're getting so close, but I think we're 1 or 2 seasons out before they are a nice thick wall. Either way, we've got the raised bed here to our left that's full. We've got Easter egg eggplants. Look at this. One of you guys sent the seeds out for these and I started them. There's 10 plants in here. I started these inside this winter, and don't they look just like Easter eggs? They're the cutest things. I actually don't like eggplant, but I grew these so I could use these in flower arrangements. We've got one amazel basil plant right there. One. That's filling up a 3x3 area, plus some, because it's like spilling over the sides by a foot on each side. Here I've got some good-hearted tomatoes, some spent dill that needs to come out. And then in this bed, we planted the radishes, which only come back about this far because I don't eat a lot of radishes, don't need a lot of them. So we've got 3 rows of French breakfast and 3 rows of cherry bell. And then in this part of the bed, which is about 2/3 of the bed, we've got the 2 lettuces, Butter Crunch and Marvel of 4 Seasons. In this 3x4 here, we've got sweet potatoes, which are going nuts. They look really pretty and lush. In this bed, we've got the peppers that are surrounded by the berry treasure red strawberries. Here we've got the zinnias and the mountain spinach, which the mountain spinach I didn't have very good germination. And I'm wondering if it was just way too hot. I got another packet though. You can see a few. There's a few of them there. And then the rogue potato plants that are coming up. This is where the potatoes were. So I think I'm just gonna fill in the gaps with more of that spinach seed. I've gotta go find it though, it's somewhere in the house. Hope I didn't lose it. But that's what I'm planning for the back half. This bed here is empty still. This one's for garlic, as is this one right here. So these 2 L shapes are the only ones I do not have planted right now. In this bed, we have the Lacinato Kale, which I did in a row along the entire outside. And then I did 3 rows of the evergreen bunching onions or white bunching onions. And in this one, in the middle row of those 3, since I've got 3 rows, in the middle I put the sets. And then I flanked it by seeds. So we'll see how that does. And then I've got the dwarf blue curled Scotch kale in a row like this. It should be a really pretty layer, I think, because the lacinato should be our tall layer in the back, then our bunching onions, then our shorter kale. I've got zinnias in this bed and in this bed. More sweet potatoes here. Can you believe, based on how, especially the ones in this bed, how they looked when I planted them, look how amazing that is. Hopefully we get a handful, hopefully, of sweet potatoes. And then this whole 3x4 bed, I planted up with the spinach. And I left the wire A-frame trellis because I think it's cute. It's kind of like the same reason I leave these out. Like, I really don't have to protect our stuff from very much or anything really, but I just think they're decorative and pretty. I did, however, notice we are dealing with some damage here on the zinnias. See that? It looks an awful lot like slug damage, something like that. So we're gonna bait real quick. I actually found a couple slugs in the raised beds behind the greenhouse. That's why I think that that could be what I'm dealing with. We deal with a lot of earwigs and they create a lot of the same kind of damage, but these are pretty perfect holes. Usually earwig holes are a little bit more jagged. So anyway, I'm gonna bait this whole bed with the bug and slug killer and just go around the base of the plants, and I'm gonna do that to all 3 of the beds right now so that I don't have any more damage. Okay, I moved back into the shade because it's quite a bit nicer over here than it is in our vegetable garden that's full sun. It's still pretty warm out. Our 10-day forecast shows temperatures pretty much in the 90s still, 2 days being 98, which I'm trying not to complain about the heat, but it feels like in September we shouldn't have temps close to 100 still. Like, it should start feeling like fall, which it does in the morning though. That's the difference, is that our nighttime temperatures have started to significantly decrease. So in the morning when you get out here, it's almost like like this morning I felt like I could use a sweatshirt, and you only need it usually for about an hour of the day, but it takes a lot longer in the day for those temperatures to reach the high. And sometimes they don't even quite make what's forecasted, like they don't quite get up there. So I can really feel that kind of, I can feel the shift already. And that's the thing with the crops I planted planted today. Like I planted my other fall crops earlier, the things that are more heat tolerant, the things that need longer to grow in order to get to maturity. These things like your greens, your radishes, those things like a little bit cooler temperatures. They struggle in the heat. They struggle to not bolt really quickly. They struggle to germinate. So even though we're getting pretty warm in the day still, the nighttime temperatures being so much cooler, it'll help these things out so much. And I'm expecting that because we do still have quite a bit of heat, they will germinate quickly, but the cooler nights will help kind of decrease their growth a little bit, so it's not like they're just getting heat all throughout the day and night like they do in the summer months. I'm trying to think of what things other people might be starting from seed right now, and it's totally dependent on your climate, but some of the things that I could have planted today but I didn't are like kohlrabi, parsnips, Swiss chard, but I try to err on the things that I know I'm going to utilize a lot, and that's why I've dedicated so much space to alliums, like onions and garlic, because we go through so many of them. Like I will plant 2 full beds full of garlic, and I'll only plant like a half a bed with carrots because we just don't eat as many carrots as we do onions and garlic, because that's the base of so many of our meals. So if you're unsure of what you can start in your particular growing zone in your climate, I would ask somebody at your local garden center if you've got a reputable one. They should be able to steer you in the right direction and let you know what to start. But typically the stuff that I'm starting is, I don't know, like the stuff I put in the ground today, I think pretty much any growing zone, even colder growing zones, can start those things now because they're so short. They do not take very long to grow, and they can all tolerate a little bit of cold. So anyway, that's it for today's project. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.